Have you ever wondered how intense the fighting between two countries must become before a defense minister openly declares open warfare? On the evening of February the 26th, Pakistan and Afghanistan clashed again, and this time, the conflict escalated dramatically. By the next day, the 27th, Pakistan's defense minister Asif took to social media platform X to declare, "Our patience has run out. What exists between us now is open warfare." This statement carries significant weight, essentially marking the formal escalation of previous minor border skirmishes into full-scale confrontation between the two nations. The two sides offered completely different accounts of what sparked the firefight. Pakistan claimed that on the night of the 26th, armed personnel from Afghanistan initiated hostilities by attacking a Pakistani border outpost. Naturally, Pakistan retaliated, and did so with full force. By the early hours of the 27th, Pakistan's Air Force had launched operations, crossing the border to strike multiple locations within Afghanistan, including the capital Kabul, as well as Kandahar and Paksha provinces. Reports indicate the airstrikes targeted Afghan military facilities such as command posts, ammunition depots, and logistics bases. Residents in Kabul reported hearing massive explosions in the city center around 2 a.m., accompanied by the sound of aircraft overhead, followed by intermittent gunfire, creating a highly tense atmosphere. The Afghan side offered a different account. Government spokesman Mujahid stated that the clashes erupted because Pakistani forces initiated the provocation, prompting Afghanistan to retaliate. Afghanistan's Ministry of Defense issued a statement claiming their border operations killed 55 Pakistani soldiers and captured 15 Pakistani military outposts. Regarding Pakistan's airstrikes, the Afghan government announced it had launched large-scale retaliatory operations against Pakistani military targets from Kandahar and Helmand provinces. The combat results announced by both sides show wildly divergent figures that simply don't add up. Pakistan claims to have killed numerous Afghan militants, with its information minister alone stating at least 36 were killed, while other reports cite figures of over 70 or even 133. Pakistan also claims to have destroyed 27 enemy outposts. Pakistan's Prime Minister's spokesperson also claimed their counterstrikes were effective, killing 72 Afghan militants and wounding 120. However, Afghanistan insists they are the victors, claiming to have killed 55 Pakistani soldiers and captured several alive, while suffering only 8 dead and 11 wounded on their side. Regarding civilian casualties, both sides claim their own people were bombed. Afghanistan alleges that Pakistan's airstrikes on the 22nd killed over a dozen civilians, including women and children. Such discrepancies in casualty figures are common in these conflicts, as both sides seek to portray themselves as having gained the upper hand. The true situation remains difficult for outsiders to ascertain. To be sure, relations between Pakistan and Afghanistan, these two neighbors, have never been good. This animosity intensified after Afghanistan's leadership changed several years ago. Pakistan frequently complains that Afghanistan fails to control militants operating within its borders, particularly groups like the Pakistani Taliban, who specifically target Pakistan. These militants allegedly use Afghanistan as a safe haven and training ground before launching attacks against Pakistani military, police, and civilians. Pakistan believes the Afghan government either lacks the capacity or simply refuses to act. Afghanistan, however, denies these accusations, insisting they are Pakistan's internal issues, and refusing to take the blame. This conflict has been simmering for a long time. Since October last year, sporadic fighting has persisted along the border. Later, Qatar and Turkey stepped in to mediate, and both sides agreed to a ceasefire, holding several rounds of talks in places like Doha and Istanbul. But despite all the negotiations, no lasting peace has been achieved. The recent escalation in hostilities actually had precursors. Just before dawn on the 22nd, Pakistan launched an airstrike, claiming to have bombed terrorist camps inside Afghanistan, killing over 80 people. Afghanistan was furious at the time and warned of retaliation. Then, on the evening of the 26th, a larger conflict erupted. This round of fighting was far more intense than previous skirmishes. Past clashes might have involved gunfire and artillery exchanges along the border, but this time Pakistan directly deployed aircraft to bomb the enemy's capital city, a completely different level of escalation. Kabul is Afghanistan's political heart. Bombing it amounts to a direct slap in the face. Moreover, Pakistan's defense minister left no room for compromise with statements about open warfare and knowing you inside out. This is no longer about border skirmishes. It signals both nations entering a state of war. International attention is focused on this situation. At the United Nations, Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called for both sides to engage in dialogue and avoid escalation. Russia has also urged a ceasefire. Iran, as a neighboring country, has seen its foreign minister step forward, expressing hope for talks between the two nations to preserve harmony. China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has voiced its deep concern, urging both sides to exercise restraint and prevent civilian suffering. But external appeals alone may prove ineffective. Pakistan's stance has hardened significantly this time. Their president declared that Pakistan will not compromise on peace and territorial integrity, warning that anyone interpreting their pursuit of peace as weakness is mistaken. The message is clear: they intend to fight to the end. Reports indicate that after the airstrike on Kabul, Afghanistan requested a ceasefire, but Pakistan dismissed it, insisting on achieving its objectives first. For ordinary citizens, the current situation is undoubtedly the most devastating. Residents along the border are facing unbearable conditions. The lengthy frontier between Afghanistan and Pakistan has always been chaotic, with people from both sides occasionally crossing to live and work. Once fighting erupts, artillery fire knows no mercy. Reports indicate that near the Torkham border crossing, an Afghan refugee camp for those returning from Pakistan was struck by shells, injuring several refugees, including one woman who sustained severe wounds. This is the true face of war. No matter what slogans officials chant, it is always ordinary people who bleed. Why did Pakistan's defense minister choose to make that statement on X? Because that platform reaches the entire world. He wanted both Afghanistan and the international community to understand, Pakistan isn't playing games this time, it's serious about fighting. His words, "We know you inside out," carry a threat. The subtext is clear: we know where you're hiding, what equipment you possess, and we'll strike your vital points next. Afghanistan hasn't issued an official response yet, but their military has already made it clear they won't back down easily. Their defense ministry stated they will continue striking Pakistani military positions until Pakistan halts its airstrikes. This is essentially a direct confrontation. You want to fight, so I'll fight you. The border region is now in utter chaos. The Torkham border crossing is reportedly closed, with numerous trucks waiting to cross now stuck on the road, their drivers uncertain what to do. Villagers in some areas have begun fleeing inland, fearing shells might land on their homes. Shops have shut their doors, schools have suspended classes, and cars loaded with luggage are streaming away down the roads. This is how war begins, not with the dramatic battle scenes from TV, but with ordinary people scrambling to save their lives. Outside voices still call for a ceasefire, but whether they'll be heeded is another matter. Pakistan is now determined to fight, and Afghanistan has no room to retreat. This conflict shows no signs of ending anytime soon.